I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles.
Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles.
It's so good to see you.
It's great to see you too, and I get to see you in person tomorrow.
I know.
My birthday.
Are you excited?
So,
can I let the record show that I've hosted now 2 of your birthday parties?
You have. You hosted my 40th, and now coming up on my 42nd.
Yes.
So I very much appreciate it.
It's like
you
my
throw
favorite.
like really good parties though
please.
too.
But I'm not really hosting. Let's be honest. Your girlfriend is hosting,
gonna say,
and I'm just throwing out a location.
She's already been to Costco.
Trust me, I know.
She's like, I've got to go by to her house tomorrow and like drop off all this stuff. I'm like, okay.
I know. As she's asking us how we want to make the chicken, and we're all vegetarian. We're like, we're going to leave the chicken to you.
Right. And I told her too, I was like, I'm fine with doing like a vegetarian thing.
No way. We're having chicken for the birthday girl.
Marina tried to throw me under the bus and be like, Melissa wants chicken wings and pizza. Yeah, and I'm like, I have to join in on this. Like, I'm not a frat boy.
I was like, what the hell?
On.
Well, the problem with me is
credit.
that I care too much what people think. And so I'm also like, I can't let it be chicken wings and pizza because then the guests will think that I picked chicken wings and pizza. So I have to.
I don't even eat pizza.
I know.
Like,
what the hell?
Yes, I eat wings, but,
We're not having
that's
wings
my,
and pizza,
vice.
but I know that's not what you wanted. I knew she was kidding.
Yeah.
I heard you're even
upgrading. The bus.
I heard you're even upgrading your cocktail for the party.
I am. Yes, I've been laying off the Miller Lite. I don't drink it nearly as much as I used to because I hit 40 and like the weight started. I know. Every beer is obvious now.
I know. So if I seem irritable, it's because I've been on this diet. Like I do. I weigh myself all the time because I'm terrified of like waiting a while and then being like, holy shit, what happened?
I stick to like a few times a week because I feel like otherwise I obsess.
Yeah, I obsess.
But
anyway,
but it's like, you hit 40 and it's like, I'm seeing that now and it's annoying. Like I used to really be able to eat whatever I wanted and like work out a little bit and that's good. But now I'm like, oof,
I know,
this is painful. So dirty martinis it is.
Dirty martini. And someone, who, our friend Ari, she told me, she's like, you need to do these tequila, like skinny tequila drinks. Ooh. I don't like hard alcohol, but she was like, trust me, you'll love it. And
I was going to say tequila will knock me on my ass. So
no, I don't need to be knocked on my ass.
Vodka agrees with me. We have a good reputation together. So. Right. Tequila, not so much. The room starts spinning.
Oh shit, we can't have that.
Yeah. No.
Do you want to put a bet on whether I make it to Second Friday?
You know what? I mean, I would be definitely betting against you making it to Second Friday.
Oh God, that stings a little bit.
I want you to go. I really do. It is going to be a little bit different atmosphere. Okay. I'm a little concerned about that because it's at like a club, but I think that they've rented out the whole club. So it's going to be like.
Is the club in my 2-mile bubble?
It's in underground.
So no. So the answer is no.
It is a no. And also I'm like, who goes to underground Atlanta? Like who?
I don't know. Not
and a friend of mine has been to this club before. And he even said like walking over there, he was like, I'm worried about being hate crimed right now.
Shit.
Like,
okay.
So we're going to Uber though.
Yeah.
I think that'll take care of some of the issues. And if it sucks, we might go over to Claremont Lounge. I've heard that they have like actually a really cool DJ on Friday nights that plays.
I've heard Oakhurst has some really fun nightlife.
80s. They close at like 11:30.
That's why it's perfect. It's perfect. Well, I'm going to tell you a really quick tragic thing that happened to me after my post lip issue. Then I went to get my hair cut and I told the lady, my girl that I go to, I'm like, I want to go a little bit shorter. Like I want to make my layers like a little shorter. And she's like, will you just trust me? And she cut me full on bangs. And I'm like wrecked. Like I have it pulled back right now, but I'm telling you, emotionally, I'm fragile.
Oh my goodness.
And so I'm not leaning into it. Like my sister, my kids are like, just lean into it. Like do bangs for a little while. I'm like, I can't, I hate it.
I'd have a hard time having bangs.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you're going to
Like
see it.
like you're not a fan like at all.
At
Like
all.
there's no way.
Like I literally was like, how did I let this happen?
But you know, you can do like hats. It's also like fall. Like you can do a beanie.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to be really leaning into
there's
that.
options right now, at least.
Oh, I was so upset.
But I want to see tomorrow in person.
I'll show you for a second and then I'll grease them back the way I've been doing. It's terrible. In any event, we have an awesome guest today. And what's super cool about this guest is that she would have been like the perfect person in our group. Like when I heard about her and her story and then I talked to her, I realized that she would have 100% been sitting with us at that original table. When the four of us spun off, it would have been 5 of us had she been in there, because she's us. I mean, she's the mom, came out later, was married for a while. But anyway, I will introduce Nikki. Nikki, welcome to Lesbian Chronicles.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hello.
we're so excited. And the reason I know you is because we have a mutual real estate agent.
We do.
Yeah. And she called me. I mean, it was probably like a year ago. And she's like, hey, I've got this really sweet friend and she's doing what you did. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, what? And then she reminded me and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then we just never ended up, I guess, pandemic and life. And we never met until now.
Yeah. And I think probably like you, my relationship with Jen, sorry.
Yeah.
We're very good friends. So
yeah, she is same.
My oldest and her daughter, were really close for a long time. They still are close, but you know how kids are. But yeah, she's a great human. I love her a lot.
I totally agree.
She really is.
Known her. Yeah, Melissa. She's Melissa's agent.
I used her too.
Oh, okay.
We just throw her another bone. Jen Waddy.
I know.
Yeah, she was my friend before she was my agent. But yes.
Now, did you ever tell Jen in the early days that you were like kind of thinking this was happening, or no?
I think I was already out in the sense that out in my mind. I'm trying to remember when I met her exactly. I don't think that I was out to, my family and the public, but I think when I met her, I was already out. And,
okay. So tell us a little bit, like back up. Let's talk about that. Like you were married. So I guess start with that.
So I was married for over 10 years. Met him when I was in my late 20s. And we were engaged. But I don't know how excited I was about getting married. I think we were engaged for like a year and I hadn't made the first wedding plan. And it just wasn't I was very work focused and, doing really good at my career and just, wanted to keep at it. And I got pregnant. And so the grandparents were like, you're getting married now, right? And I'm like, yes, we are.
Of course.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't have married him. If I did anything right, one of them would have been, meeting Franklin and, having children with him because he is a wonderful father.
Oh, I love that.
Good man, wonderful father. Still pretty close. We were very close until he got, very involved in a relationship and, she realized how close we were. But yeah.
Is that painful? Because Melissa Melissa really, you like your ex-husband's girlfriend a lot, but Melissa has sometimes said that too. Like it's a little painful to lose your best friend.
Yeah. It's like you slowly lose them over time,
Oh God, it was painful. And it was probably harder than leaving the house.
Yeah.
But I can remember, something happened, I think Oh, he decided that I was no longer allowed to kind of let myself in and out of the house because, he would be out of town and I would come and take care of the dog, or I still had mail or work packages going there. And
he stayed in like your marital home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still in our home.
I love when Melissa says marital home.
I know, like I'm a freaking attorney or something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, he was there, and I'm always going to feel like that's my house, I guess. And I mean, in retrospect, of course it makes sense, but we're just so close. And, that was kind of always my perspective on everything, that I would be with someone and he would be with someone and we would all be this big happy family, So I think that's what was hardest, was losing him as a best friend. And we actually talked about this probably 6 months ago in my 16-year-old's psychiatry appointment. Like, we all went together, and I was like, because she's always been like, kind of in the middle. She's always felt like she was in the middle. And we sat down and all talked about it. And I was like, I think he was shocked at how, it affected all of us when he got a serious girlfriend, and like, he completely changed.
Does the girlfriend have children too?
She does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's also not here. She's out of state. So, she kind of feels like we're all here, like this happy family, and she's not.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of understandable.
Right. It's threatening for her.
Yeah.
So what was your like coming out process like? When did you realize? How did you talk to him about it?
So I was pretty unhappy for a long time, and I did years and years of therapy. And then I finally, I think, told him that I was, ready to, what's the word? Quit. I was ready to not do this anymore. I needed to be on my own. I needed to figure out like what was going on with me. And he was like, he, wanted to do therapy with me. So he suggested that we do it together. So we did that for a couple years together.
And was he fighting it along the way? Like, looking
not at
for
all.
A way? Okay.
No, I mean, he was in, and he wanted to make it work, and we wanted to make it work.
I mean, that's what he didn't want you to leave. He wanted to figure out how to make your marriage work.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And you knew about the gay aspect at this point.
No.
Okay. No.
No.
Okay. You just knew you were unhappy and you felt tied down.
I mean, if you want a little past, I grew up in a very conservative kind of horse town, farms. Me being a lesbian never dawned on me. Like, was never presented to me, it was never something I even considered or thought about. Or
did you just think like, I'm in this marriage and I've been married 10 years. It's getting kind of boring. I don't want to sleep with him anymore. Like, was it like that kind of thing?
No, I think that I think that's why I say that, we were engaged and I got pregnant and we got married, is because I was kind of like, I think I was always a little bit like unsure.
Yeah.
Like, who am I?
Unsettled inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, not sure about, am I going to move again? Am I in the right place? Am I in the right career? I wasn't, and still am not, very social person, pretty introverted. I mean, my friends, when I decide to have fun, they're like, oh, fun, Nikki's here. Like, never, like, Nikki is not guaranteed to be anywhere. I mean, she's going to be the one that bails or doesn't show or goes home early. Like, it's just not really something that I've ever been. And So, I mean, through college, like never even considered or thought about it. Never had friends, never had girlfriends that were gay. Just
It wasn't on your radar.
it just
That's,
wasn't on my radar.
yeah, that's very much the same as me. Like,
Really?
didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Till when?
really until my mid-30s. And like I started thinking about it a little bit here and there, but I would excuse it out of my brain so quickly. Anytime that I did. It really took a long time to put the puzzle pieces together and be like, wow, like that was me the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I think when you have little kids at home, it's so easy to hide in that. I mean, you can stay very busy and preoccupied in a healthy, great way with this partner who's your friend, who's helping you take care of these babies and who's coming home at night. And there's a safety in that I clung to for many, many years. Maybe still do in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they, became my priority pretty quickly, and, they obviously still are. So, but yeah, I mean, just never even like thought about it. And Leslie and I were at lunch today, and she was asking me about it because I was like, I haven't even thought about, this today. And I think I told her for the first time. She's like, when do you think that you like started like even considering it? And I was like, I'm embarrassed to tell you. I was like, I'm not going to say it. And she's like, yeah, you need to say it. And I'm like, when I watched the L Word.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's
gets
true
them every
for a lot
time.
of people. Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh my gosh, like I just don't think that I put the pieces together. Like, I don't know.
That felt exciting.
Well,
but
I think with the L Word, the biggest thing for me in watching that, and it took me a few years beyond watching the L Word to figure things out, was watching it and being like, what kind of world is this? Like, this is unlike any other lesbian representation I've ever seen on television. And the women that you were seeing weren't the stereotypical butch lesbians,
right?
Or the butch femme dynamic that you would see in relationships in the media. And so I think for a lot of people watching the L Word, it's kind of like, well, wait a fucking second. Like, I can sign up for this.
Yeah, they're hot.
Sign me up.
I didn't really think of it like that, but yeah, I mean, maybe that is what it was, that I could actually relate instead of, the idea that I had that lesbians
were Rosie O'Donnell or Ellen, which Ellen's fantastic, but it wouldn't have been.
Well, that's just it. It's like, not to say anything remotely bad about women that are butch lesbians. It's just that's what we're presented.
So you don't feel like you fit into that.
You don't feel like you relate when I'm like, wow, like I don't look like that. I don't dress like that.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't register with me.
So then, Nikki, what happened? So the seed's planted, and then your life goes on, and then what happens catalyst-wise? Like, what spurs that into action?
I think that finally I was just like, I'm really done, we talked about it in therapy a lot, like, we went weekly, and I think one day after therapy, I was like, I'm done, like I'm gonna, move out. I've been looking for places, and he still wasn't ready, but
in that time period after, like, are you noticing women in public and like you're starting to get hopeful, or is it like not really that way?
Not really. Well, it's funny. My friends tease now because I'll say, when we were in Mexico, were you not looking at like all of those women like I was looking at those women? I mean, I guess I was always looking at women different. I thought we were just all looking at the women like that, even in high school. I mean, I was a cheerleader, and, I thought everybody was, I don't know. I just always noticed like
women.
I mean, I just always noticed them. I think now I see in a different way than maybe my friends were noticing them.
Got it.
Yeah. I relate to that, because I remember thinking like, okay, like, yes, men are attractive, right? but like looking at women, I'd be like, of course women are attractive. Like,
Duh.
you know, it was like, how can they not be like,
right.
Yeah. I mean, I never was, you know, when all my friends were in serious relationships in high school, college, you know, even in my 20s, I just like, I thought that the guys weren't interested in me, you know, but really, I don't think I was interested in them, which I'm sure made them not interested in me, you know?
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
the connection just wasn't there.
yeah, I was never like, we would go somewhere and, you know, my friends would, you know, start talking to guys, and I just was never comfortable in that situation. Like, guys just, I mean, I had boyfriends, but never anything serious, which is crazy because, I mean, I went so long, and then, you know, I had maybe like 1-2 relationships that lasted a year other than Franklin in 30 years. So, yeah, I mean,
So then after the fact, like after you leave and now you're free to go figure it out, so to speak, and there's no woman at that point. So you're like wide open, this introvert who's kind of like not the party girl. How does that even look? Like what happens next? Like, do you, we joined a group, Melissa and I, like we had an opportunity for community. What was yours?
Yeah. By the way, is that group still like happening?
Yeah, it's amazing. And we know the therapist. The therapist
we'll give you the info.
On. Yeah, listen to the episode with her on here. She's brilliant, and the group is amazing. I cannot say enough about it.
Because I need lesbian friends that have like teenagers.
They're there.
Like, we have no lesbian friends that have teenagers. I just feel like it's such a different kind of, you know, or I mean, we have some friends that have little kids, but it's just such a different place in life. But so I did begin to connect with, God, how do I say this? Someone at the gym.
Okay. Everybody's that's like the fantasy come true.
Yeah.
Right.
And she actually became, I mean, she was my friend, you know, for years. I mean, I've worked out at the same place for years. So she was my friend for years, but we were friends at the gym, you know, like we weren't really hang out outside the gym because we'd see each other, you know, 5 days a week. So we weren't really hanging out outside of that. And she just became like more supportive in my life and like, you know, would run to places to look at apartments or whatever with me when I was looking. And,
she's gay.
So yes.
Okay.
And she was going through, I think like a 15-year breakup.
Yikes.
So that was my first relationship.
To me, it's hard once you've been friends to kind of, then it becomes something else. Like, was it just like she was kind of waiting around for you to realize this about yourself and then enter the new Nikki?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say that we were both in just like a place and like a similar place. And I mean, she's still a best friend. She is amazing.
And is she in a relationship now?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
She's in another relationship. And my partner and I work out with her 3 days a week.
Okay, so there's no threat to it. Yeah.
No. So she's amazing, and she was a huge support for me.
Oh, everybody needs that. Yeah. That's really cool. Had she been out for a long time?
Yeah, a long time. So she had been with this girl for 15 years. So
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
She had been out. Right. She'd been out since college, but she was just a huge support for me. And I mean, even though I didn't want to be in the relationship with Franklin, you know, it's still hard. Both of you know it's still hard.
Of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was hard. That not working out was hard.
I think sometimes too, Melissa and I talk a lot about how sometimes the heartbreak after the woman is like, I guess maybe I mean, I loved my husband. He was my best friend. We raised these kids together. I was a child almost when I married him. And then 20 years later, I still count on him. Um, but it's almost like because I was gay, like I knew I was gay, I wonder sometimes if that I didn't let it it was a friendship. It was a very deep friendship with him.
Yeah.
You know, I slept with him, of course. He was my husband. We have 3 kids together. But once you're with a woman, that there's a whole different dynamic of connectedness, that it's like the heartbreak is intense, even when it's not right. I mean, Melissa and I can both attest to our Catalyst breakups being.
It's just night and day with these relationships that you have with women compared to what we had with men. And like, I've heard that it's like we're having our second puberty, basically, or really experiencing the one that we never got to. In that, you know, like I had relationships with guys, but it wasn't that like disruptive in my life. But like the relationships with women that I had when we went through breakups, it was just like, damn, like this physically hurts.
Yeah.
Like I never felt that way. And I think it's just like, you know, you've bottled it up over the years. You've never had that experience. What you should have experienced when you're 15, you're now, you know, 40 and experiencing it for the first time.
Or 48. Yeah. It's like, are you grieving? Would you say you're still grieving Franklin?
I mean, I'm sure that I am.
Yeah.
But I'm, you know, 100 times better than I was a year ago. And, you know, I think that now I just get mad at him.
Yeah.
You know, which before I didn't feel like I would get mad at him. I would more have, you know, empathy for him, or, you know.
Yeah, it's like you blew up his life and now you feel sorry for him in some way.
Yeah, and I'm still very involved. I mean, he's manageable. I don't know how to say it. Like, he needs direction. I would say, like, I mean, in my mind, he's a typical man. I hate to say that about all of my men in my life, but I mean,
yeah, if the shoe fits.
Yeah. For example, like last night, or yesterday morning, the girls had a 7:30 dentist appointment a.m. And I was like, can you take them? And Clara last night goes, every single time they asked Daddy a question, he called you.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay though. Like, God. I like that he knows to call. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a sweetness to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Does your partner talk to me about the relationship between how your partner feels about, like, in the early days of my relationship, we had a lot of struggles around how involved or how much I depended on, in some ways, my ex. And I don't know, like, she felt like my boundaries, that came up all the time. Like, you have no boundaries with him. And I probably didn't, but does that come up in your relationship?
Yeah, I would say less in this relationship, but more in my first relationship. I think that was, you know, I think when you first go into it with these women, it's attractive that you're so close to your ex.
Yeah.
I think it's attractive, but then when they get into it and they see whether it's the boundaries or how much time it takes, like how much time I get off versus how much time he gets off, you know, like whether it's mentally or, you know, physically, or, you know, how much more I'm dealing with the kids than he's, you know, I think that it's more like, gosh, this is really like not fair, you know?
Yeah. And because it's robbing them of your attention, they feel like, and he's the reason.
Yeah. And, you know, he gets all this time to, you know, do whatever he wants because I'm handling everything. And, you know, I think that's hard on the partner.
Yeah.
To understand.
How have your kids taken everything with coming out?
I mean, obviously it was hard. It was very hard.
Remind us the ages.
Now they're 16 and 13. I've been out for a lot longer than I told them. And my 16-year-old still says, like, you lied to me for 3 years.
Okay.
So it's been 5 years, but 2 years since we've told them, only 2 years. And it's been hard, probably harder than it was us telling them that we were separating, that mommy was moving out. And, I think I mentioned this to you, Allie, early on. Like I said, I grew up in a very conservative place and with no diversity. And, Franklin and I thought we were raising our kids in this, like, middle of the city, super diverse,
right.
like
progressive,
everything goes, some of their friends have two moms, some of their friends have two dads, but man, it did not translate that well.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was our turn. So it was hard. And my little one still has, it's still hard on her. Like she still, does not really have friends over. She's just,
did she verbalize it?
She talks to her older sister about it.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to talk to me about it.
She doesn't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hurt my feelings. She keeps a lot in. I think she does the same thing with Franklin. She's just she is who I was.
Yeah.
Kept it in, didn't want to talk about it, tried to deal with it on her own. She's also in therapy.
Yeah, we should all probably be in therapy. Please.
I'm a huge pro therapy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But she's had a rough time, and it's getting better. It honestly kind of goes through waves.
How did you tackle that conversation with them? Like, that's probably one of the biggest questions we get is like about how to talk to your kids, especially at that age. What approach did you take?
Franklin and I sat down with them at the dining room table, and I just told them. And I can't remember the exact words, but of course I had it all planned out. And I think Franklin started, and kind of took the conversation so it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be one-sided, that it would be coming from both of us. I mean, it went sour quickly.
Yeah, like crying and upset.
Oh yeah, and I don't want to talk about it anymore, and I don't want to come to your house, and
mad at you or mad at both of you?
Mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't about the gay thing, because you told them that later, what reason did they have? Like with us, we said right then, this is why, and we're still, amazing. We're a family, but I'm gay. And it wasn't like we broke it up into two parts. So I'm curious around like, A, what reason did you give them for the split? And then B, how could they hold it against you if it's...
Oh, sorry. Those were two conversations. Yes. The first conversation was at a park somewhere when we were splitting. This was the conversation where I was
conversation.
like, okay, Mom,
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And was he protective of you? Like, I have a lot of respect for Chris because he was my cheerleader with the kids.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying, like, he kind of took the conversation in the beginning.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't like mommy sitting us down to give us some bad news.
Yeah.
I mean, he was all a part of it. We talked about it ahead of time. Of course, I thought about it for like weeks and months and years, And my oldest was like, I knew it,
Yeah.
She knew. And, I'm sure they even talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm grateful that they're so close and they,
have each other.
Can talk to each other about stuff. But, I mean, it's just uncomfortable for my little one.
How long till she was like coming over and feeling good?
I mean, we probably just in the past 6 or 8 months.
Okay.
I would say. But how long? A year and a half?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. Even with
how did you feel during that time? Were you like regretting stuff?
Yeah,
like,
good question.
Were you just trying to give her time?
No, I was never regretting it. I guess felt bad that she was hurting.
Yeah. Of course, because you're a good mom, and we all just want them to be happy, period.
Yeah.
Did you feel a sense of too, like, because when you first, at least in my relationship, I felt also a sense of like loyalty to my kids above all. And so it was like hard for a partner to like fit into that because I also, and I still am this way, like where you're so protective of them that it's also just like they're already hurting. They don't need this extra layer of you being, you know, whatever it be. Like I remember with my catalyst, like she would have opinions about things and it's not her fault. Like this would just come up. And I remember feeling like I was caught in the middle of I'm trying to like be out and meet people and have this new girlfriend. And on top of it, I'm also intensely loyal to these hurting children whose family just broke up, that it was like put me in a weird place of I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I do that on a regular basis.
Still.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How do you how do you mitigate? Like
don't say that or like, oh, that's going to turn into something, just mouth shut. It's going to turn into something later,
Right.
I'm not giving this person enough attention or my kids enough attention. I'm not giving my partner enough attention. It's like if the girls say something that I'm worried that my partner will
react
to. And then if, of course, my partner does something that my kids will go back and react to
together, like go back in the room and talk about, and then it's like,
yeah. I just try to keep it like as light as I can in my head, and just know that everything's going to work out.
Right.
I've gotten a lot better in the past couple years of just like breathing.
Yeah.
And trying not to worry about things that I really can't control.
Right.
Just remembering that I need to take care of myself first. And if they need to talk to me, they'll talk to me, but not to go and like try to fuel the fire,
Right.
My little one is just, when she's ready to talk about it, whether it's 2 hours or 2 months, she will say something. My oldest will just blurt. If she's got a problem, if
you're going to know.
She texts me a minute after she makes a good grade or a bad grade and says, this is what I made,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She'll tell me stuff about her sister too. So I usually know. But how do I just do. I'm just a queen and I'm a good mom and I just take care of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a tough stage.
It is
to be coming out to your kids at that age, like I think even if you said that you were dating a man, they would have an issue with it. It's like, they don't want to think about their mom in that kind of scenario. I think it's like, you got to give them a little bit more leeway. It sounds like you are.
Yes.
For sure.
Well, at some point, my high schooler decided it was cool.
You've leveled her up socially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all of her friends think it's cool. And, I became the cool mom and now they all hang out here and stuff. So
maybe the little one will see that. And
that helped with my older one for sure.
Yeah.
And she, she loves my partner and they get along really well. So that's been great.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for.
It's just like the everyday kind of, struggle of trying to make everyone happy,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then to your point, making sure you're happy.
Yeah. Including all those frustrated clients.
Yeah. Yeah, it's work, it's ex-husband, it's kids, it's partner, it's all of it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be given all of these, trials if I wasn't able to handle it. And I pat myself on the back, I am strong. If I'm anything, I'm an amazing mom. I'm learning how to take care of myself.
Right.
After lots of therapy.
What does that look like for you?
Well, I think first of all, it's exercise.
Yeah.
That's huge for me. And me doing that the first part of the day, even though it, interferes in my work, time. It's just such an important part of my day. And constantly reminding myself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, it's hard to keep remembering, but I mean, eating healthy, exercising,
sleeping.
And I think it's important when you like think back on that place that you were in and feeling confused about why you felt unsettled in your life and now having an answer to that, you know, like I think that's really like freeing.
For sure.
And I think a lot of us have been in that space where, you know, like, is it difficult coming out and being out and having all these hard conversations? Yes, but it is better than like Abby and I have said, like those bathroom floor moments where you're sobbing and feeling trapped. Like,
yeah. And your life is passing by and it's.
Oh my gosh. I honestly think I spent my entire 20s like behind doors, like depressed.
Yeah.
Just like afraid to
live.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school, I went to work, but I went and exercised. But other than that, I mean, I had friends, but I didn't like take advantage of it. I would always be like, no, I'm going to stay in, I mean, I didn't know who I was or what made me happy or, any of that. So for sure. I mean, I do feel like I'm living like the life that I was supposed to live.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. We talk about a lot, like the reason I asked about like what you do for yourself is we talk about like people need like a toolbox to like go to in those times for me, it was like, I love self-help podcasts. I love business podcasts. I love working out. I love running. So it was like finding those little things that I knew I could grab in my low points. And there were a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool when people realize, like, I also need a lot of sleep. I'm just one of those people. I'm never going to be out at 2 a.m. It's just not my thing. Like, I want to go to bed at 10:30. I know that about myself. I just do. So I know. And like figuring out those things, because many people you ask that question, they literally have no idea how to self-soothe or they don't have a clue. I was one of those people before this. Like I couldn't figure out. I mean, group saved me. That was my biggest help. Melissa, would you agree for you too? Like group was like the bulk of my healing.
Right. Well, and I think that's like, because both of us were involved with like catalysts at that point.
Yeah.
And entering group let me see that there was another support system outside of my catalyst.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't so reliant on this woman.
And like I think, Nikki, you mentioned about making friends and stuff. I think that is just imperative in this process. Is that you meet people and connect with them to help get you through it and make you not so stuck to that first relationship. Those first relationships can be amazing and they can work out, but they can also really crash and burn. And then but you hang on to it because you're scared.
Yeah.
Like that there's no one else out there.
Can we actually revisit that first relationship? Like I'm curious around, so you're dating this catalyst and then she ends up meeting, like what happened?
I did this month-long mental health retreat in Asheville. So my therapist, after Franklin and I had separated and I was out on my own for, several years. I mean, my therapist was like, honestly, like, I don't know what else. I feel like I'm at a place with you where I'm not sure.
You're broken.
Like all the medications, I mean, I've got a lot of like history, growing up stuff that I have also dealt with. So she got me into this month-long mental health retreat, which was amazing. I wish I could go every year. Thankfully, insurance paid for it, so I can't go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But she was like such a huge support for me while I was there. I had one call a day, 8 p.m. She was always there, ready to pick up my call. But I think after I got out, I think that she was hoping that I would be
healthy and feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that I was there yet. So that was like winter. And then come spring, I mean, I think, we just decided that, she needed to move on, and, I just needed some space and some time alone. Because I'm pretty good alone, like I'm pretty independent. I like you said, like coming home, having my healthy dinner, doing whatever work I need to do to clean up the house, get in bed.
Damn, it's my dream night.
Make my coffee for the morning.
Exactly.
Dream night.
Have my bar set out.
Set my coffee up so it turns on at 7:15 exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty good like that.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of my life.
That's why Melissa, you and I would kill each other.
So it was hard. It was a really hard breakup. And I remember it was a Sunday, and I called my friends and I was like, I am not good. And they came over, and you said like on the floor crying. Like, I'm pretty sure I was like on the floor crying. But a couple of months went by, and my friends it was a Saturday, and I had a meeting with a client.
And are you still friends with her in this term, like after the breakup, or were you taking major space? I
took some time off from the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my friends were hanging out on a Saturday. I was coming from a meeting, and they were like, oh, we're at Midway hanging out. And we went there and kind of drank all day. And we were taking photos of me for, what's the...
Dating apps.
Yeah, the dating apps. I can't remember
Nice.
the one, but obviously I have no idea what to do on a dating app.
Everybody needs friends that do the photos for the dating apps, but go ahead.
I think that's great. That's a great idea.
And my friend was like, you have got to meet this girl. I've been sending you pictures of her for months. I mean, basically, I know where she is right now.
Like,
so
let's go
we're
find
going
her.
there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and we walked in.
I mean, your personality doesn't strike me as someone who's just like, did they have to
go for it.
Let's go for it. Like, you seem like you would be like analyzing the shit out of this. Okay.
Get a couple drinks.
I'm pretty lightweight. So give me a couple drinks. And we walked in, and she says, like, it was just like women on a mission. Like, we were like,
yeah.
Rip open the door.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been together kind of ever since. I mean, she had like 4 girlfriends at the time, but I worked my magic and
got her down to just the one.
Yeah, just one.
Good job.
Yeah, good
Nice
job.
work.
Good job. Good job. Oh, that's really cool. And so did it mend the broken heart?
It definitely helped mend the broken heart. And I could tell in the beginning of the relationship I'm in now, that I was still very sensitive about the other one, obviously. But yes, we're at a point where, I love her and I love them both. And like I said, I mean, we work out with her 3 days a week.
Yeah.
We're with her all the time.
It's done. Like she was part of your evolution, but
yeah, I mean, we see them at Brandy concerts all over the country.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Well, that's perfect. I love that. That's probably a good place for us to wrap.
I know. I think
a happy ending.
A very happy ending.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Nikki, so much for coming on. You were awesome.
Thank you.
I think you're going to help a lot of people. You're exactly who listens to this show, truly.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.